Is this the best piano bench? All things considered. For the value for the money, the quality of the materials, the finish of the metal itself is really nice. It was all assembled for me. I just literally pulled it out of the box, pulled the protective plastic off of it. That's amazing for a $277 bench. Ooh. Oh my gosh, it's already put together. Awesome. Yeah, that packing material got pretty beat up at the bottom. Oh, it's nice and heavy. And like where the feet were, where the box was all beat up, that's just fine. That's all fine. It's just got styrofoam all over the place. Oh, there's a little packet of information down here on the bottom. It's all in German. Google Translate. It is sturdy, sturdy. This is all solid metal here. And let's see, on this side of the bench, we've got, there's their logo, Andexinger, made in Germany. These little bits, the feet on the bottom here are a little sharp. It's not like you're gonna be touching the bottom of the bench all that often, but I guess if you're gonna have to clean styrofoam off of it, it's important to know that they're a little sharp. Well, it's nice and long too. Look how long it is. It's just a plastic bag that's been tied. There's no tape, no scissors necessary. You don't have to risk cutting your new fabric top bench. Man, there's even styrofoam on here. Everywhere. Styrofoam is everywhere. Oh, that's nice. Okay, before I clean up, let's just do a quick test. And let's see, does the hydraulic mechanism work? Oh. Wow, that's way up high. And, oh, nice and easy to use. Very powerful hydraulics. It's not bouncing around as I sit on it. Oh, you can just lightly touch the lever. Oh, that's beautiful. Goes down ever so slowly till you get all the way to the bottom. I'm gonna clean this up first, and then I'll do a little bit more talking about the bench, but looks nice. Looks very nice. Oh, perfect. I'd just like to give you a couple first impressions, totally unscripted. First off, I was super impressed that it was all put together. The whole thing, I'll put it on camera for you. This whole guy came in one piece, already all put together. There are so many benches out there that are, especially around the price point of this one, that you've got to at least attach the top of the bench, if not some of the legs and some of the other things. Even the really expensive artist benches, like Jansen artist benches and companies like that, you have to attach the legs, you have to attach the seat and do all kinds of other work. This was literally just pull it out of the box. And if it didn't have all that styrofoam on it, it would be pull it out of the box and it's completely ready to use, which is awesome. Second thing, so this is a much narrower seat than I'm used to. I'm used to, like a typical artist bench, I think is almost 2 feet wide or 2 feet deep. So this is much narrower, but I'm totally fine with that. I wanted to get a fabric top and not a faux leather top or a leather top, because sometimes leather can be a little squeaky as you move around on it, and that's not always great. So I just really wanted something that was going to be maybe a little more forgiving or a little easier to slide and not have any noise that comes of that. The range of motion on this is incredible. Okay, so at the lowest point, this is too low for me to play. I don't like sitting down this low. I feel like I'm a little bit below the keys. But that's really incredible that it can actually go down this far. And then, just check this out. Putting it up with the little lever on the side, this is, I am notorious for going to concert halls and having benches that I cannot get as high as I'd like them to be. On the rolling artist benches, or the ones you have to kind of crank to raise and lower, I'm always putting them all the way up and then I sit back down on the bench and it's still not high enough. And all I really want is a height that's probably, when I'm performing, a height that's probably around, oh, not even that high, maybe around right here. This is a great height for performance for me. I like being a little bit over the keys, more so than when I practice. When I practice, I like being about right here. It's a small change, but it's just something that I like in performance. And I have, other than the hydraulic benches, not this brand, but other brands, other than hydraulic benches, I've never been able to get a bench high enough on a concert stage to be really comfortable. And there have even been times where the highest the bench goes, because sometimes the pianos are on big, dolly systems and they're actually raised up a little higher than they're supposed to be. The highest I can get a bench and get my seating position is almost as low as this goes, and I feel like I'm playing from below the keys. That's never great. Never a good feeling when you're in front of people and you can't get comfortable. So the height adjustment is super wide. I can't imagine sitting up this high. And for my height, I'm 6'1". I have a kind of a short torso. I have long legs, but kind of a short torso. So that's part of the reason why I like sitting up higher, but that's amazing. So this adjustment, there's this adjustment lever on the side. This is all hydraulic. And it's nice. It's super easy to find. And secondly, if it's all the way up and I want to slowly inch my way down, I can just touch the lever and it slowly brings me down, which is really nice. I might not do that in performance or on a stage or something like that, but at home, that's nice. And if I want to go a little faster, I can pull it all the way and I traverse the entire distance immediately. Super cool. Or if I'm really close to being where I want to be, like here, and this is too high, I can use that feature where I just touch the side of the lever and I can put myself in exactly the position that I want to be in. That's so nice. And I don't have to get up. I don't have to like hunch and do some weird turning of the knobs on the side of the bench. I don't have to get up and go behind the bench and turn the knobs. That's always kind of a pain. It's actually even wider than a typical artist bench also. I think it's something like 6 inches wider. So that's interesting. I don't think that's really going to affect much because, as we all know, we sit on the front edge of the bench anyway. But it's not a duet bench. This is not a duet bench, but it's just about wide enough that you could actually sit 2 medium-sized people on here. Maybe not fully, but if you're going to do a 4-hand thing, yeah, you could sit 2 people on here. And this is just the standard size that Andexinger makes. This cushion itself. So it seems like this might be a little prone to getting some dirt stuck in it because I just cleaned it and it's already got some little white specks. And those specks came off perfectly with just water and a damp cloth. They came off perfectly, but it's already got some new ones and I don't know what's causing that. So hopefully it's just nothing and it can just be wiped down easily again. The top of this is really firm and I really hope it stays that way. We'll see as I sit on it for days and days and years. My other benches, I've used for, the one bench that came with this piano, I've used for 23 years. And it has a bit of a problem, which is why I was looking for a new one. And then the other bench that sometimes I have out here that I'm playing on, and you saw the Mason and Hamlin logo on the side, that bench is also, that's more than 10 years old. And it's been used pretty heavily. And so it's a little, you saw it's a little kind of creaky, and the top moves when you sit on it. And the upholstery buttons on the top make some sound as you move around, and sometimes they pop and sometimes they sink in. You can hear that. And that can be a little distracting when you're working on playing, or in my case, if I'm recording stuff and one of the upholstery buttons goes, sometimes I have to redo a take, which is never great. So this doesn't have any of that. And this is nice and supportive. You can't see this, but on the other side, both sides of the bench have the little hydraulic handles. So you can reach down with either hand and grab that little adjustment. And I have a feeling, I'm not going to be needing to do it a lot, but I do teach a handful of in-person students here, and this is going to be super nice for them to adjust the bench as they need it. So the last little bit that I want to mention, over the last few years, I've played on a number of hydraulic benches. And I think they were the first company that started producing hydraulic piano benches. And they pretty quickly, I think, got bought by universities and conservatories and concert spaces. And I think for good reason, because the hydraulic mechanism really makes it a lot easier, especially if you're sharing an instrument with other performers. For example, a couple of weeks ago, I was playing, and I was only playing a single piece of music on a program. And the pianist before me, they, of course, needed the bench in a quite different position, totally different position than I prefer. And instead of it being 30 seconds or a minute of awkwardness and nervousness building while I adjusted the bench and things like that, it was really quick. You just sit down. You can even, on a non-carpeted surface, the benches just slide really nicely on a hard wood surface like this stage was. And then just pull the lever and we're in position. And that's so much easier than having to get behind the bench and crank the wheels on the sides and hope that you're going the right place and hope that you have enough distance to travel that you can get the bench in a position where you want it to be. So having played a number of Hydra benches, and Hydra is really the premium brand, I would say, or the premier brand, since they were the first company doing this. They're made in Japan. And I would say this bench, this was $277 US as of the time of this video. Hydra benches are usually around $800 and more. This bench is, I would say, at least 95% as good. Maybe even closer to 99% as good as the Hydra. There is one thing that I think is not as good. And it almost doesn't even matter, which is why I say it's 99%. Because the one thing that I don't love is the sound the bench makes when you go down quickly. And up, I guess. That's a little loud, right? And Hydra benches don't make that much noise. They're kind of like a whisper quiet function as they move. Now, if you're only making a small adjustment, these are extremely quiet. I don't even know if that can be heard on the video. Very, very quiet. And so that's why I say 99%. They're not always whisper quiet, these guys, these Andexingers, but they are darn close. And how often is a whisper quiet bench really that important? There's nothing really that important happening when you need to adjust the bench. Even on a concert stage, you're never going to be adjusting the bench during a playing of a piece, during performing a piece. That's not going to happen. So I'm super, super impressed. I went out on a limb and I talked to a few friends that own this brand, Andexinger, and I decided I was just going to jump for it. I was on the fence about buying a Hydra. I just couldn't quite bring myself to spending $800 before shipping for a new piano bench when what I had was working okay. And now, I talked to a few friends and they absolutely love their Andexinger benches, and I have to say, as long as the seat cushion holds up and it doesn't sink in and it stays this supportive and this comfortable, I am going to be super happy with this. Now, if you're in the United States, Andexinger, as far as I know, is not really distributed in the United States easily. So I had to order this from overseas and pay kind of a lot in shipping. It was about $135 in shipping for a $277 bench. Whereas benches that are available in the United States, you know, if you have an Amazon account, shipping is free on a lot of those things. Or if you purchase stuff from Sweetwater or another company like that, usually if you exceed a certain purchase amount that's pretty low, you'll get free shipping or very, very, very cheap shipping. So, and I get it. This is, it's pretty heavy. 20, 30 pounds in that range. That costs money to ship, especially from overseas. This came direct from Germany. And so I'm still happy with that. Even with spending that much on shipping, this bench only cost $400, which is half of a Hydra. And it's at least 99% is good. I'll take that. I'll take that any day. Is this the best piano bench? All things considered. For the value, for the money, the quality of the materials, the finish of the metal itself is really nice. It was all assembled for me. I just literally pulled it out of the box, pulled the protective plastic off of it, no assembly required. That's amazing for a $277 bench. I especially don't see a need now to go out and buy a $1,000 Jansen artist bench. I am sold on this. I know I bought it. I had already bought it, but I would so highly recommend this to other people. And I had to share that with all of you. So I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing video, which we don't do very much of here. And hope you enjoyed kind of a look at all of it and my thoughts on the Andexinger piano bench. I'll list a link to where I purchased it in the description below. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. We mostly talk about piano technique and musicality and things like that here on Pianist Academy. But consider subscribing to the channel, especially if you want to hear more about that kind of content. And I'm Szczepanek, and I hope to see you next time you visit the channel.